Tyson, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to be here.
Very, very happy to be here at the National Stadium in the big smoke.
Yeah, we came in the car earlier on,
Yeah.
saw it in the distance. You're basically saying this could be the pinnacle of your career.
This is probably the pinnacle of anybody's career. To top the bill at the biggest stadium in the country, the National Stadium, it's going to have over 100,000 people here on fight night. It's an amazing experience for me, and it's probably one of the best ones that you'll do.
Because you've obviously been all over the world. You fought in Vegas,
Yeah.
you fought at stadiums, Windsor Park, you beat Klitschko in a stadium.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be home, isn't it?
It's return of the Mac, Thin Lizzy. The boys are back in town after 4 years. Finally get back to the UK shores to put on a boxing display, a boxing performance, a show for the fans, and rewarding the loyal fans for all the times they've tuned in at 5 in the morning over the last 4 years. I'm very, very happy to be back in the UK. I'm back on BT Sport, live and exclusive.
And happy to be training in Morecambe as opposed to Vegas. What's happening there? Is Sugar Hill going to come over?
Yeah, we're going to start training in the next few weeks, I suppose. May as well, because we've got 8 weeks, just under 8 weeks today as we speak. So I'm already fit, I'm already ready to rock and roll. So I don't need a lot of tweaking, to be fair. Sugar Hill will come over the next few weeks. We'll get a good few weeks training in and then put on a show. Fantastic.
I've seen all the clips, you run in, the medicine ball stuff. I mean, you're not messing about, are you?
That's just my normal everyday training now. So I've been training like that since the 1st of January, not for this fight, just for my mental health. I train twice a day, every day anyway. So the training camp for me are easy these days because I don't do anything different to I would be doing if I didn't have a fight coming up.
And Joe Parker, I mean, he's been around a while now. How's that been, training with him? Yeah,
it's been good. Joe's been over here about a year now, I believe. Fitting in very well in Morecambe. We call him Morecambe Joe now. Great guy to have around camp. Obviously, he's fought Dillian Whyte before. He knows what Dillian Whyte does best and what he does bad. So it's very, very handy to have Joe in camp and give me those advice, tips and whatever.
And you're bringing in, presumably, different people to spar. I mean, did you spar with Joe as well?
Yeah, we spar. I've got Joe, he's about the same size as Dillian Whyte, same weight. There's other guys coming in, so we're good. We're looking forward to the actual training camp and getting into fight week. I wish it was this weekend, actually. I'm ready to rock and roll.
And how is it sparring with a mate, rather than somebody just being shipped in?
There is no mates in boxing, ever. As soon as you step into that gladiatorial ring, it's on, like Donkey Kong. It doesn't matter if it's your mate, your wife or your brother, you're throwing down.
Okay, and you mentioned Joe knowing about Dillian. What do you think about Dillian?
I don't really think much about Dillian, to be honest. It's he's a boxer. He's had a few wins and whatever. And he's had a lack of success, let's just say. I think he won the British title before. I think that's the only thing he's won in his career. Came up short against AJ. Came up short against Povetkin. Got his rematch, done that. So it's not really about the opponents, whether it's going to be Joe Joyce or Josie Parker or Dillian Whyte or whoever it's going to be, Derek Chisora, then it's really unimportant to me who the opponents are. It's the Tyson Fury Roadshow. No one's here to see the other guy. People have come here to see me, so it's what I do. It's the show I'm putting on, and that's what it is. I'm going to go there and it up.
Oh, and how do you see this fight going? Because your last 3 fights, were your 3 fights with Deontay. First fight, it's like a boxing masterclass. Second one, you tore him to bits, and the third one was just an all-out war. So how do you see this one going?
I see Dave coming into it, trying to hit the body and swing over the top and that sort of stuff. So it's nothing that I haven't seen before. I fought Derek Chisora twice before, and he's pretty similar to him. We know he had 2 50-50 fights with those guys. Nip and Tuck, who won the first one, and the second one's pretty much the same. So I've been fighting people like him my whole life in boxing. Everyone's 6'3" and everyone's 17 stone, so it's average for an heavyweight to be that size. So there's nothing that he does that's spectacular, different to anybody else that I've ever fought before.
Now, we talked about the man, the fighter, but on the social media, I mean, he's not that active, but he does, whenever he's interviewed, he refers back to sparring. That's his sort of go-to thing to say. What do you have to say about that?
I'm actually off social media myself. I'm on a social media blackout for the next 8-9 weeks, however long it's been. And I'm actually not going to miss it at all. Social media is good for updating the fans, but my personal business in training camp is my personal business, and I want to focus on the event and focus on the fight in hand. So that's why I'm not on social media. But as to going back, sorry, I went total off record there. Sparring, yeah, we used to do a lot of sparring, me and Dillian Whyte back in the day. But yeah, there's not much to go on because I think that Dillian Whyte's probably improved a good bit since then. It was only like 2012, 13 maybe, so it was quite a long, almost 10 years ago. So yeah, there's not much to say about the sparring, but the one thing I've learned about sparring is sparring ain't fighting. And no matter how many people you spar with, on the night they're never the same. That's what I've got to say about sparring.
Fair comment. But is there any animosity between you two? I mean, I know, all fighters try and sell fights, but is there any genuine...
I don't think this fight needs selling. Dillian Whyte's been very vocal in the past of how he hates me and how I'm a big coward and whatever else, and how I'd never ever fight him. Now he's got his opportunity. I suppose all the heavyweight division I've been running scared from him for the last 3 or 4 years, and everyone's been afraid to fight the guy and whatever else. So, now he's got his chance. It's time to step up and show he's a real contender, not just a pretender. And we'll find out on the 23rd of April. But yeah, I don't think there's any love lost there. He's trying to smash my face in. I'll be trying to smash his face in. What's not to like?
And any prediction on how it's going to go? Do you think it's going to go the distance?
No, I think it ends inside 6 rounds, to be honest. He will come at me and I'll go at him, and well, either he'll knock me out or I'll knock him out. This is definitely not a points fight. I'm going out to put it all on the line for all the people who's going to turn up and people who's going to tune in. And I think Deontay Wilder made a very valid point recently. He said people don't come to watch heavyweights box and move. They come to watch heavyweights knock the BBB out of each other. And that's what we're doing on the night.
Yeah, and you do the business, you beat him in 5-6 rounds, whatever it is, in front of 102,000 people at the National Stadium.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
Back home to the locker room. Back home to Morecambe Bay. Roaming around, get a nice coffee, go look at the beach. What else can I do? I suppose I could go on holiday or whatever. I get quite sick of those after about 2 days. Back to the gym, do a bit more training. No alcoholic beverages, not until next year anyway. That's about it. That is it. People think, I live this big extravagant life, like world champion, made tons of money and all that. But at the end of the day, if you're a grounded sports professional, then there's not much you can do because you're trying to stay in shape, you're trying to stay out of trouble. Can't really go many places because someone wants to video you or do something. So, I tend to stay at home. Stay at home, drop the kids off at school, do my bins, pick up a few bags of rubbish. That's about it, really.
But in terms of fighting, what would be next after that? I suppose you can't.
I don't know. I don't think there's much left. If I fight again, then we'll know. If I don't, whatever. I might retire. This might be my final hurdle at the big show. Final countdown. Does it get any bigger than this? Is there anything else to prove? Anything to do? If I walked away today, I'm financially secure for my family and their kids, so there's not much more that I could do. I've won every belt there is to do, and it's just, what more I could do is I could get brain damage if I wanted to continue, or I've got a lot to risk and not much more to gain. I could gain a few more zeros on my bank balance, but does that really help me? Do I really need that in my life? Not really. I suppose I could go into the movie business. I could do documentaries. I could become a sports analyst. I could become a pundit. I'd probably become a boxing trainer or a boxing manager or a boxing promoter. So who knows? There's untold amounts of stuff that I could do after I'm finished, providing I finish with my head intact and my faculties. And I'm able to speak like I am now. I'm able to be well.
No, that's completely fair. I mean, I guess if you asked the public, AJ's name would come up, but...
Yeah, no, I think AJ's been finally nicely by the Ukrainian guy. And that's it. 2 losses on the old slate now. And that's it, done. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't live up to his end of the bargain. And that meant consistently winning against high-level opposition. Failed, fell out of bed. Fortunately, that's why I'm fighting Dillian Whyte, not Anthony Joshua. And that's what it's about.
Before we go, can I just ask you quickly, the fight the other night, Josh Taylor and Catterall, what did you think about that? Because Frank said that he doesn't want any British judges at your fight.
Yeah, I second that, to be honest. I second that opinion, what Frank said. It's not really for me to say because I know both fighters. So if I say, I thought he won or he won, then it'd upset one or the other, wouldn't it? So let's just say, though, it was there'll be no British judges at my fight, that's for sure. Not that I'll need them, but just in case, you never know.
Okay, and final message down the
Because if I knock him out, he might give me a draw.
Final message down the camera for the fans.
For the fans, biggest fight. I think it's the biggest boxing fight in British boxing for, I don't remember there ever being a bigger one. At Wembley, 103,000 people. Absolutely fantastic. The Tyson Fury Roadshow continues, and I will not disappoint. I'm going to put a show on for you all. The final curtain, and I've got some big, big moves planned. Tune in.